unearned fame and fortune are far more destructive than they might appear. And right now, there's no organization on the planet that proves this point more than the WNBA. The league just posted its highest average game viewership in 24 years. They're bringing in massive new sponsorships, at least by the league standard. They're selling out arenas, which used to be unheard of for the WNBA. And this should be a dream come true for everybody involved in the WNBA.
Have you ever wondered why a superstar like Caitlin Clark is facing criticism in the WNBA? The reason might surprise you. While the league's viewership has surged, player benefits have improved, and women's basketball has gained unprecedented attention, unexpected allegations from WNBA veterans have suddenly stirred controversy.
The executives to the players to the reporters who, for their sins in a past life, have been cursed with the job of covering a women's basketball league, everyone should be overjoyed. But there's a big problem. All of this success, every bit of it, is due to the presence of one player in the league, and that is a generational talent named Caitlin Clark, who of course you've heard of, and still probably the only WNBA player whose name you know.
Matt Walsh isn't holding back. He's calling out the double standards with evidence to back it up. Armed with facts, figures, and a bold approach, he's shedding light on the WNBA's most shocking controversy. Stick around as we uncover the truth that's been hidden behind the scenes. You won't believe what some players have been saying in private. Ready to dive in? Let's go. Picture this. Caitlin Clark steps onto the court, and the WNBA experiences a seismic shift. She's not just making an impact, she's igniting a revolution in women's basketball.
She's the reason the WNBA just won the lottery. Without Caitlin Clark, nobody cares about any of these players or the league. With her, most people still don't care, but a lot more people care than did before. And everybody knows that, right? Therefore, everyone in the league other than Caitlin Clark is doing exactly what so many lottery winners do. They're allowing all of their worst personality traits to surface because they just can't help themselves.
The WNBA is experiencing an unprecedented boom, with viewership soaring to record-breaking heights that have executives in disbelief. Packed arenas buzz with an energy that was once unimaginable, transforming the league into a can't-miss spectacle. It's as if a switch has been flipped, making women's basketball the most sought-after event in town.
You know, there are a lot of stories out there about lottery winners who go on to destroy their lives. Something like 70% of them supposedly go bankrupt within a few years. It's not hard to see how that would happen. When you give a lot of money and attention to a person who didn't earn any of it, that person doesn't suddenly change overnight. Instead, more often than not, all of their worst character traits are amplified 10 times over, and in many cases, that leads to a very public and humiliating collapse. This is a principle that doesn't just apply to individuals, it turns out. It applies to organizations, too.
The WNBA's rise has brought in major sponsorships and massive deals, improving player benefits and drawing new fans. But not everyone's celebrating. Amid the success, some players are grumbling. Can you believe it? Discontent is brewing behind the scenes.
There's been a lot of resentment in this league lately, in particular since the season began. And the thing about resentment, as we all know, is that it tends to fester over time. It gets worse and worse. That's exactly what we're seeing now.
It's definitely puzzling. On one hand, the league is finally getting the recognition it's long deserved. Yet on the other, some players seem unhappy with the very success they've been pushing for. The million-dollar question is, are they jealous of Clark's rapid rise to stardom, worried about what this shift means for their careers, or is there something else happening behind the scenes?
Race hysteria in the WNBA has somehow reached yet another inflection point. The league is currently in the midst of what really might be the single most contrived racism scandal, certainly in any professional sport, at least since the fake noose in Bubba Wallace's garage. Specifically, a bunch of WNBA players have come out claiming that they've been victimized by racial slurs and other forms of racist attacks. Like, a lot of players are claiming this.
Imagine this, the WNBA is soaring with popularity, and then, out of nowhere, a bombshell lands, explosive accusations of racism that threaten to unravel everything the league has worked for. It's like someone ignited a match in a room full of gasoline. How does the league respond to such a volatile situation?
How do you feel about what has happened over the past year with the W since you first came in to where it is now? And obviously the game has grown and there's new fans, but how do you appreciate the new fans without all the noise that's coming?
I don't appreciate the new fans that sit there and yell racial slurs at myself, my teammates, and the people that I play against, because yeah, those might be opponents, but those are friends too. You know, they don't deserve that. So I don't appreciate the new fans. I think it's okay to do that.
Brittany Griner, one of the biggest stars in the game, steps forward with a shocking accusation. She claims that new fans are shouting slurs during games. Can you believe it?
The question that Brittany Griner was asked was about the massive growth of this league, which was dead in the water just a year ago and had been dead for its entire existence. And the reporter asked, what do you think of all the new fans? And like in any other context, when someone says, what do you think of all the new fans that are coming in? Usually it's, oh, it's great. We love how everybody is supporting the league and we're so grateful. None of that. Instead of some gratitude, some appreciation for the people who have saved the WNBA, who pay to come out to see bad players like Brittany Griner, instead of that, we get resentment.
Thomas, an 11-year veteran with years of experience, didn't hold back. That's a heavy accusation coming from a player of her stature. But wait, something doesn't quite add up. Matt Walsh, never one to shy away from controversy, starts questioning the claims, and guess what? He's not the only one raising eyebrows.
Honestly, it's been a lot of nonsense. I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base. We had her face on a serious matter that happened in this world, and it's unacceptable, honestly. And there's no place for it, and we've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media, and there's no place for it.
Here's the real question that has everyone scratching their heads. Where's the proof? We're in an era where everyone has a camera in their pocket. Arenas are filled with fans holding up their phones, ready to capture every moment. So why hasn't a single incident been caught on tape?
They're now accusing the people who have started showing up to WNBA games for the first time in more than 2 decades of being horrible racists.
Walsh doesn't hold back. He's calling it as he sees it, stating that these accusations are completely fabricated. It's a bold claim, and it's definitely making people think. But let's pause for a moment. Why would players lie about something so serious? That's the million-dollar question sparking heated debates among fans and critics. Are they trying to create drama, or is there something deeper happening behind the scenes?
Now for the fine print. None of these racial slurs we're told about, some of which have supposedly occurred during games, none of them, as far as I'm aware, have actually been caught on camera. Interesting. There's no visual or audio evidence that might substantiate any of this. Not a single credible report, even. That's extremely unusual, obviously, given that there are cameras and smartphones at every WNBA game.
The whole situation is dividing the league. On one side, players feel victimized and are demanding action, while on the other, skeptics like Walsh are insisting on hard evidence before jumping to conclusions. In the middle are the fans, sponsors, and the very future of the WNBA, all caught in the crossfire.
Then the videos would be all over the internet. But those videos are not all over the internet. They're not anywhere on the internet. So instead, we have to take the player's word for it. Nothing about the answer makes sense, even in that context. I mean, why would that be the first thing that Griner mentions when the reporter asks about the fans? Why not say, well, the overwhelming majority of the fans are great people. I'm so happy that they're paying money, and I'm so grateful to have them. Like, why wouldn't you, even if this was happening, why wouldn't you start with,
as everyone else is seeing this angle? I'm calling her in, and I'm saying to her, I need answers.
You went and kind of swatted at Caitlin. Did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
Carrington responds,
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am.
Offensive. It's the bare minimum you'd expect under the circumstances. It's the kind of questions that reporters ask male athletes all the time. When there's a foul, when there's a scuffle, it's the same kind of questions. But Carrington immediately gets snippy and obnoxious in response. And then just for asking these questions, Brennan, who incidentally is one of the biggest champions of women's sports in the industry, is now getting dogpiled. In particular, the WNBA Players Association just put out one of the most demented statements imaginable. All BS. Unprofessional members of the media like Christine Brennan. You are not fooling anyone. That so-called interview in the name of journalism was a blatant attempt to bait a professional athlete into participating in a narrative that is false and designed to fuel racist, homophobic, and misogynistic vitriol on social media. You cannot hide behind your tenure. We're at the point now that journalists can't even ask black players about fouls they commit against Caitlin Clark without being accused of racism and somehow also homophobia for asking the question. That's how much racism there is in the WNBA. Even asking questions is now racist, which I guess we already